All right. It says, starting off, it says a spinner like the one shown is used in a game. Determine the probability of each outcome if the spinner is equally likely to land on each section. Express the probability as a fraction and as a percent, then describe the likelihood of the event. Write impossible, unlikely, equally likely. Now listen, generally the only thing I care about is that you're able to write it as a fraction, because most of the time probability is written as a fraction. We'll try to go through and answer all these questions, all right? Because I would like for you to know what they mean by impossible, unlikely, equally likely, and likely or certain, okay? I'll show you what that means. Very, very obvious and very easy, all right? But you got to listen to me. So can somebody tell me what's the probability of getting a 10? Say it. Exactly right. So the probability of getting a 10, we would say, is 1 out of 16. All right, is everybody okay with that? Now again, remember, probability is success. The numerator is called the success, and the denominator is called the number of outcomes. All right, if you spin the spinner, how many outcomes are possible? 16. All right, and how many 10s are there? 1. That's why the answer is 1 out of 16. Is everybody okay with that? I think that's pretty easy. All right, everybody should understand that. All right, now, if I ask you to write that as a percent, you should just take 1 and divide it by 16. If you have your calculator, somebody take 1 and divide it by 16 for me. And what's 1 divided by 16? Point what? Is that right? All right, now that percent would be 6.25%. Everybody okay with that? So you have a 6.25% chance of throwing or spinning a 10. Anybody have any issues with that? All right. Now, here's where some people don't know. Impossible means that the probability is 0. Certain means the probability is 1 or 100%. Equally likely means the probability is 1/2 or 50%. Everybody with me on that? So what do you think unlikely is? Less than what? Less than 50%. And likely is going to be what? More than 50%. Okay? So again, I'm not too concerned about these questions right here. I'm just concerned that everybody knows what they mean. Does anybody have any questions now? All right? I'm not really going to ask you to tell me if it's impossible or certain or likely or equally likely or whatever. All right? But I do want you to know the fraction, and I do want you to know the percent, because I think that's important. All right? Now, let's take a look at the next one. What's the probability that you get an odd? Well, how many odds are there? There are 8. How many total numbers are there? 16. So I would want you to say the probability of getting an odd is what? 1/2. Right? And then that's also what? 50%. Thank you very much. Does everybody agree that's kind of easy, right? All right. Now, let's see. I want to know the probability that you get a number greater than 7. Because you're going to count what? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Everybody good with that? So it would be 9 out of what? 9 out of 16. So now take your calculator, divide 9 by 16, please. And it would be 56.25%. Everybody okay with that? Anybody have any issues? All right. Now, prime numbers. All right, the biggest mistake here, let's look at the prime numbers. Is 1 a prime number?
Yes. No.
Actually, it's no, it is not. 1 is not prime or composite. It doesn't fit the definition of prime. Prime says it has 2 factors.
1 in itself.
1 in itself. 1 times 1, the 1 is itself. So it doesn't fit that definition. Is everybody with me on this? So 1 is not prime. Is 2 prime?
Yeah.
Is 2 prime?
Yes.
Yes, because it's the only even prime number. Because 1 times 2 is 2. Those are the only factors. Is everybody happy with that explanation? So 2 is prime. Is 3 prime?
Yes.
Is 4?
No.
Now, do I have to really say any more of the evens? No. So we'll go to 5. Is 5 prime?
Yes.
Is 7?
Yes.
Is 9?
No.
11?
Yes.
13?
Yes.
15?
No.
All right? Does everybody see that? So now you're just counting. How many primes are there? Count them up, please.
Oh yeah, there is 6.
There are 6. It's
I put
okay.
9.
It's all right. 6 out of 16. 6 out of 16. Now you have to reduce that. So 6 out of 16 reduces to what? 3 out of 8. And 3 out of 8 is what percentage?
37.5.
37.5%. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look now at the next part. All right, we now want to take a look at the probability of getting a 1 or a 2. How many numbers on the spinner are 1 or 2?
2.
Out of how many?
16.
So you're going to write 2 over 16, which is 1/8, and it's 12.5%. 12.5%. All right. Now I want to know how many are less than 5. How many numbers are less than 5? 4. 4 out of. Listen, Sebastian. Listen, man. You're getting on my nerve today because I just keep hearing you say things. They're not adding to the conversation. So I have what? What's the probability less than 5? 4 out of,
16.
which we're going to reduce to,
1/4.
which is the same as
25%.
25%. Now again, the reason why this is a good lesson is because it's reviewing your fractions, your decimals, and your percentages. All right, does anybody have any questions with that? All right, so let's find the probability that we are shaded. All right, Julian, you're up. Tell me, how many are shaded?
2 out of 16.
Where are you getting 2?
Well, because we have out of the shade numbers, we have 2 that are
Look at the picture, Julian.
Oh, there's
How many of the numbers are shaded?
there's 5 shaded.
Yeah. Out of how many? So the probability would be what?
5 out of 16.
So write down 5 out of 16. Now tell me what percent that is.
30%.
How did you get that? Shh, I want to know. You didn't even do anything. You just said 30%. how do you figure out what percent that is? Yes, get out your calculator and do it. Don't just say something. Now, what are you typing on your calculator right now? Yes, 5 divided by 16. And what decimal is that? I don't think 5 divided by 16 is 8. Point 3125, which is what percent? 31. Say it. 31.25%. Come on. I don't want you just saying something. You have a calculator, use it. All right. Tell me, what's probably not shaded?
So, not shaded, I got 11 out of 16.
Exactly. 11 out of 16, which is?
And then as a percent, I would do 68.75.
Which is 68.75%. Perfect. All right, does anybody have any questions with that? Everybody know how to use the calculator on that, correct? Does everybody agree? That's not that hard. All right. So now, again, what I want you to do is I want you to highlight this for me again. Impossible, unlikely. Do I really care about that question? No, I don't really care. However, if it's impossible, that means the probability is what again?
0%.
If it's certain, it'll be what? 100%. Equally likely means it is 50-50. All right? Everybody good with this? All right, but I don't care about answering that question. All right? The main one is I want you to do the fraction and the percent. All right? Yes, sir. Yes, the probability is 0. Thank you very much. All right? Now, Julian, go ahead and read it to me real quick. Go ahead.
A bag contains 6 red, 3 blue, 15 green, and 6 yellow marbles. A marble is selected without determining the probability of each outcome. It is equally likely to select each marble. Express each probability as a fraction.
Perfect. So now, what's the probability of getting a blue?
So you have to add them all up.
Exactly. Are there 30 marbles, guys? Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to put total is equal to 30. So now what's the probability of getting a blue?
So it'd be 3 out of 30.
3 out of 30, which reduces to?
1/10.
Which is?
10.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Caroline, tell me about the probability of getting a red.
Well, you're going to do 6/30.
6 over 30. And that's going to be? Beautiful. 20%. All right. So, probability of getting a green. Ellis, what are you thinking? Yes. Oh, good. But I still want you to write 15 over 30. And then you're right. And then, beautiful. Easy enough. Okay, Avery, the probability of not getting a yellow. Uh-huh.
Yeah, 24/30.
24 over 30, so let's write that down. Hold on. And then what? Reduce it for me. Just take it.
6. And then it's 4
Yes.
over 6.
4 over?
Oh, wait. Oh, 5.
4 over 5. Don't worry. Just relax. 4 over 5. And then percent. How much? 80%. Perfect. All right. I'm not green, Julia. If I'm not green, wow, perfect. Perfect, which is, I'm happy with that, 50%.
There are no black marbles.
So it would be 0. Probably getting black would be 0, which is the same as 0%. Are we okay with that? Vivian, what do you think? Probability of not blue. So there would be, that's right, 27 out of 30, which would be, well, how do I reduce that? 3? Yeah, all right. What does that reduce to? Yes, 9 over 10, which is the same as 90%. Perfect. Will, if I'm not red,
So you do, yeah, 24 over 30.
good job, 24 over 30.
You reduce that by 12, yeah, 12 over 50. You reduce that by 3 over 4.
Good job. Colin, what about you? 17. If I'm red, blue, green,
This
or
is 100%.
obviously, right?
Yep.
100%. Because there's only what? Those options, correct? So 100%. Now, what fraction is that technically? 1, right?
Yep.
So everybody put 1 and it's equal to 100%. Anybody have any issues so far? Anybody have any issues? All right. So now let's look down here. Now, can anybody tell me what frequency means?
Like the number of times.
What do you think?
Frequency is the rate of something.
That's partially true, but in this case,
How
how
many times it happens.
many times it happens? Exactly. So the number 1, look up, please. The number 1 occurs how many times?
22.
The number 10 occurs how many times? All right, I think you got that. Is everybody with me? All right, so let's see what we have here. Again, do I care, one more time, do I care about impossible, unlikely? No, just do the fractions and the percentages. All right, so what's the probability that you get a, well, first of all, how many altogether, how many numbers are there altogether? Anybody figure that out?
50.
Somebody said 50. Does anybody believe that?
Yeah.
All right, so let's come over here and put the total now. Total is equal to 50. So what's the probability that we get a 10? 16 over 50. And if I reduce that, you mean what?
80.
What?
8.
8 over 25. And of course, that as a percent is what? What percent is that? Everybody should know that. 32%. You shouldn't have to do that on a calculator. 32%. So how many are not 100? How many are not hundreds?
40, 33.
I think 43.
Oh, okay.
You see that, right? Because there's 7 hundreds, there's 50 numbers. Instead of counting all the others, we can just do what? Subtract it from 50. So does everybody agree there's 43 out of 50, right? Now for 43 out of 50, can I reduce that? No, so everybody should use, there's no reason to use a calculator on that. What percent is that?
86.
You should be good. 86%. Abby, what's the probability of getting 1,000?
Getting 1,000. Okay, so 10%.
Well, tell me the fraction first.
Oh, that would be 5 divided by
5 divided by what?
50.
Which reduces to?
0.1.
Everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
All right, Madeline, you're up. What's the probability of getting an even number?
So 1 is an even number, so you subtract 50 minus 22,
Exactly.
and that's 28.
Exactly.
So it'd be 28 over 50, and that can reduce to 14 over 25, which is 56%.
Perfect. 56%. Max, what's the probability that you're not 1,000?
Not 1,000, it's gonna be 45 over 50, which can reduce
To what?
to 9 over 10,
Which is the same as?
90%.
Good work, buddy. What's the probability that you are not even? Colin, did you do a problem yet? I don't think you did. Not even. If I'm not even.
To not be even, 1 over 50.
No. The number 1.
Oh.
You're right. The number 1 is not even. But how many times does that occur?
22 times
Out of?
50.
Yes. That is correct. 22 out of 50, but I need it reduced, please.
So 22 over 50. And reduce that, it would be, it would be 11 over 25.
Yep. And then what percent?
And then it would be 44%.
44%. Perfect. No issues. Everybody agree how simple that is?
Yep.
All right, a good little review. Now, is that, did I write the same one twice? No. No, so again, I didn't think it was that hard, so I just gave you 2 more. Okay, extra practice. Yeah, your homework is those 2 worksheets.
What's a perfect square on this page?
1 is a perfect square, 4 is a perfect square, 9 is a perfect square, 16 is a perfect square.
Oh, like 3 times 3.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right. Do you have any questions? All right. So now, listen, you got time. It's simple. Please get it done. All right. You got time. It's simple. Get it done.